So you know I'm paid in full.
And so I had moderators that would moderate the thing. And more females are on social media than males.
Is that a fact?
That's a fact.
Awesome. Okay, I didn't know that.
And so, and I think they're smarter with it in a lot of instances. But we had a lot of female moderators, you know, Kayla and different people along the years. They'd do it as long as they could, and it'd get stressed out because people would say, as the admin, people would send me a bitch, gripe, or complaint. They'd be like, Mr. Easterling, would you please da-da-da-da-da, this, that, and the other. But then they'd send, you know, to one of the females, hey, you see you next Tuesday. If you don't take this down, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. We'd go to we had to go to the cops a number of times and file harassment charges on people. And then you got to go to court. So it just became too much.
Yeah.
But the thing started out as a positive, meaning to be a positive. With what I do, trying to promote events and activities. And, you know, there's a lot of good news, but you got to look for it some days.
Yeah.
But there is good news here. Let everybody else have the bad stuff. Texarkana FYI, I'll do the good news. And
that's what you do now, right?
Yeah. And
this is Jeff Easterling, by the way. No, you're good. I don't want to cut you off, but I just want to make sure they know this is Jeff Easterling.
Hey, tell me about your podcast and Joe Teel.
Yeah.
Right?
So this is Joe Teel podcast. So I interview people doing cool stuff around town. You know, essentially just highlighting people and what's going on and getting interesting stories and stuff like that. It's a pretty positive show most of the time. I'm known to go off on alien tangents and conspiracy theories every once in a while, but
are there any conspiracy theories left?
Yeah, no, they're kind of just happening to us now.
I mean, you know, if it's true, it's not really.
Yeah. So
confusing times.
Yes, it is. So every once in a while, I go off on to left field, but for the most part, it's an interview style podcast, and we figure out where you came from, where you're heading.
Really like the studio, man. You got a great setup here.
Thank you. Yeah, it's supposed to feel like homey, like a little
Joe
vibe.
Rogan ain't got nothing on you.
I love Joe Rogan. Do you listen to any podcasts?
I do. Joe, somewhat. I do like Theo Vaughn.
I love Theo.
But yeah, I kind of, you know, just kind of bounce around.
Right.
I don't want to stick with any one particular source for everything.
Yeah, you can take in one side of information for a long time, and
I like
you become the echo chamber.
Yeah, you have to mix it up to get all sides, and everybody will go, oh, there's two sides to them. No, there's these days 13, 14 different sides to a story. So you know, it just depends on what you're looking for. But I do like Theo Vaughn's. I think because of his I don't know. He's just real. I mean, who else is going to tell you I was a bedwetter into my 20s? You know, nobody.
It's so wild, some of the stuff he says, and then I don't know, like, when he's being for real, and sometimes I don't know.
Right.
But then he can have Donald Trump, and he can have Bernie Sanders in the same week. Like, that's wild.
Yeah.
And then another, like, a random, like, singer in that same week. So it's like, you can just do anything.
I think I like him most because it's almost as if he has no opinion. You know,
it's kind of refreshing, isn't it?
Yeah, on anything. Oh, really? You know, I mean, like he can have RFK in, he can have Bernie Sanders in, you know, and he treats them all the same. And I don't know. I just enjoy his shows. But I'm definitely going to be looking these up since you hit me up.
I've got a lot of cool people.
I hate that I didn't. You know, we've got TexarkanaFYI.com.
Right.
So we want to, you know, spotlight what our local folks are doing. And this is, I mean, you got a great place. You got a great format. I mean, I'd like to, you know, do a blog, you know, and a video even. My stuff is, I'm embarrassed.
Oh, no.
Listen, this guy's got lights, cameras, computer screens. I got
just the phone.
That's it.
I do think the conversation is still more important than all of the stuff, though.
Yeah, but it's still really cool to look at.
Yeah. You know, you peek over and you see Bobby the Bobcat.
Bobby, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
What platforms are you on? Because do I have to take this label off?
No. Just YouTube and Spotify. Yeah, I don't. if they get that picky, we're in a bind, but we might be.
I got a platform that, you can't, if you have labels on it, they say you're monetizing, for product placement, and, it gets crazy.
Yeah, it's a wild world. So let's get into the story. What originally sparked me wanting to interview you, I didn't know enough about you, and that's why I'm here to learn. But the first thing I asked is just an open question to Facebook. I do that sometimes just to get just to see what people, try to get people used to commenting on my stuff also.
Man, I think when social media is used like that to create conversations, I got a question, I really want to know the answer. I don't need a bunch of trolls telling me, oh, you da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Just answer the question or don't.
That's how I found out. So I'm like, I said, who originally started Texakana Cheers and Jeers? And so everybody was like, Jeff. And then then you see the opinions come in. They follow very fast after that. I just needed an answer.
That goes back to something earlier. Yeah, you're going to find from that, I think a lot of people have, especially these days, have like fame, celebrity, and notoriety all confused. I don't think of me as any of those kind of things. But when you have with social media and all of these people, we were talking earlier, I told you, anybody that hates you never met you.
Yeah, that's
the truth. People that'll have the worst things to say about you, especially on social media to strangers, has never sat down and talked to Joe.
Right.
I don't know.
People say a lot of stuff on the internet that they would never say in person.
Would never say it.
It's like the keyboard gives them power. The screen is like a shield.
It does.
Because you get your top knocked off by somebody if you said a lot of this stuff that people say. Yeah.
It happens. Yeah. And because we all shop at the same Walmart.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so Cheers and Jeers. What do you want to know?
So you said the original idea was positive, right? How long did it run and you were like, this is awesome. This is cool.
For 2 years, that group was called Cheers Texarkana. It was created.
So there was no Jeers.
It was created. We still have We Love Texarkana group is up there. And so what we were seeing, and basically, I don't know if she wants me to say her name or not. So it was a psychology professor, and her and a sociology professor had kind of out at A&M had kind of talked, and I have a different program. I teach Krav Maga, which is self-defense.
Yeah, that's.
And so they were in the class and had this idea for an experiment. And basically it was just add that and Jeers, Cheers and Jeers. Let's see what people got to.
How many years was it just Cheers? You said 2?
2 years. And it's the same thing. I've got.
And did it stay pretty positive?
Yeah. Well, there really wasn't a whole lot of anything. There was maybe 200, 300 members.
Okay.
We Love Texarkana is the same thing. It's supposed to be all positive about things we love. And there's just a few hundred members.
Yeah, so it doesn't blow up until you add the other part of the experiment.
And I'm going to get into some secrets on this.
Let's do it.
A little. We're building up to it. So what we did was we added this, and I created, do you remember the tamales jeer about the tamale sauce is too hot?
I don't think I've ever really been on any of these pages. I just kind of have heard the stories.
Humorously, I made a couple of jeers. Jeers to tamales. This hot sauce is too hot. Some stupid thing like that. And it blew up. And then we had the purple marker. I don't know if you ever remember the purple marker post. Oh, a lady was mad because a teacher at this local elementary school made her son use a purple marker and she was afraid it was going to turn him gay. That one really,
Whoa.
We had some wild stories, but it started off as an experiment to see what happens. And just by adding and jeers and putting a couple of things on there, the first real jeer was mine. And
do you regret that?
No, it was funny to me.
Right.
and I meant it and I said so. In the jeer, I wasn't being, but I think it was jeers. You had one job, right? And basically, I went to the McDonald's on 7th Street, Texarkana, Arkansas, because they got 2 on 7th Street,
Right. Yeah, I like that. I would just go to Texas.
Well, I like them all. Whenever I got a McDonald's taste, but the cheeseburger, this was just a regular cheese. Just 2 regular cheeseburgers. I think it was like 2 cheeseburgers for $2 or something. The first one fine, the second one I opened, and the cheese was laid on top of the bun. And I just took a picture and posted it, and that was the first jeer. And then the thing started blowing up. Really started blowing up. Over a period of 2 years, I think it, 25, 30,000, because we never really pushed it. It's all organic. But it got way up there, 20, 30,000, I think. And they went through these educated academians. They went through academics, I guess is the word. I'm not one.
Right. Me neither.
And they went through there and it deemed it as I want to say, I can't recall right off, but I want to say it was 85% positive. The posts were 85% positive. There were a lot more cheers than there were jeers, but the comments is where everything spun out of control.
Right.
And I think the group got up to 65, 70,000 people.
Wow.
In the end. And
that's a lot of people.
It got to the point because of the harassment.
People were coming from out of town, right, to see what was happening in Texarkana on there, right? That was kind of what I've heard.
Well, listen, and when this started out, I was looking at things from a different perspective of, I'm not just out looking for Facebook fame. You know what I mean? What we do is we create content, and then I want populated places to share that content so people click it and we get some .com money.
Right.
I mean, it's just business. So you create a bunch of groups, Texarkana News and Bowie County News and Reviews, Miller County News and Reviews.
So how many groups do you think you've made?
Oh, through FYI Media, because we're across, 4 states now. Well, 3 states now I guess we can still count Arkansas.
Yeah.
But we created that to put out-of-work radio people with these commercial radio stations as they grew. And what they do now is they pipe in. Here in Texarkana, there's only like 3 live radio shows in this town anymore.
Yeah.
The others sound live, but they're in Nashville or in
Right. You listen
Dallas,
to the station and you're listening to so-and-so and so-and-so for this hour, but it's someone far off.
Yeah, but they make it sound like, and it's called voice tracking. It's to mind screw you to think that you're listening to a local person talk about local events when they're really reading whatever somebody emailed them to talk about.
Oh, wow.
And that's fine. I mean, that's business. It's the way things go. But those people that had been on the radio in these local markets for all of these years, what are they going to do now? They're a 50-year-old man. They're too old because, even though it's radio, they want somebody younger that'll get out and can be active on social media and this and that, and they want the look. And there's just no job. That's an industry that's dying off, and AI is going to finish it.
Oh, yeah. That would be
But, even my voice work now, I'm being AI for that Halo, one of the Halo video games. They AI'd my voice from the...
Oh, your voice was on the...
Yeah, it's
on the game?
Halo, I don't know, it's on the IMDb. I'd have to look it up.
Wow. That's cool.
But but what we did, we started FYI Media, and so Texarkana FYI.com. We started all these groups around Texarkana to share that content to be seen. Not a big secret on that. Same thing with Tyler, TylerFYI.com. Tyler Cheers and Jeers never took off. Over there, rants and raves is the term.
Rants
when
and
that never kicked in,
that's a double negative. So it was just meant to.
So, Tyler rants and raves. And so you'll have people come in, they want to rave on somebody. Oh, they're great. They're awesome.
Oh, rave sounds bad to me, but maybe okay.
No, rant is where they want to bitch and...
Yeah. Oh, no, you good. No,
okay,
I cuss like a sailor normally. I just kind of gauge the guest and see.
Okay, all right. Well,
when I drop F-bombs, I wait till you drop one.
You're not going to bother me. As long as, my mama ain't watching. She's still Jeffrey. So yeah, we Cheers and Jeers. The whole idea, after it was almost 2 years, they went through it and deemed it to be mostly positive. But the comments were where everything spun out, and you'd see that because I could say, Cheers Joe, you awesome podcast. Oh, well, that guy owes me $40 from high school. You know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he cut my tires, or whatever. And it spins out.
I've noticed that type of stuff already. I'll go down and I'll say, well, I interviewed this guy. He was cool, and then there'll be somebody already has another story with him.
Yeah. Well, you know what you didn't know what he said. You know what I heard he said.
Yeah, and so I'm like,
again, ask him. Have you ever met the man? Have you talked to him yourself?
So when it was just Cheers, it didn't need all that much moderation, I'm guessing.
No, nobody cared. Nobody joined. It wasn't anything. It's
so the moderation came when Jeers was added.
Yeah, and we had.
So do people get mad about the moderating, like choosing what got to go up?
Well, there's some folks, like there's a guy here in town that got all butthurt about it, and he went and started some whole. He's still got the whole Jeff Easterling, we hate Jeff fan club or whatever. I don't know.
Is it a group?
Yeah, I'm not going to call him out.
Yeah, to me though, that's kind of awesome though. Like you got your own group, you got adults spending time out of their day thinking about you. That's wild,
dude. Listen, you can sit here and go through my notifications of these people in their metro. I have to go through, are reporting pictures of my dog on my profile, like my personal profile, as nudity, as harassment, as I'm all day long. And it's over somebody in Texarkana. I'm going to say jealous, mad, whatever you want to call it, for Facebook fame. We need more people coming to our Facebook group. I don't give a damn about the Facebook groups. I need you to go to my .com.
Yeah, that's where the money is.
That's where my money is. I need you to go to my YouTube. That's where the money is. TikTok, that's where the money is. So I let them chew on my ankles on Facebook at this point.
Right.
And it is kind of humorous.
So the bad interactions, what do you think they are? Do you think it's like, I'm guessing, or is somebody mad at you because some post about like their business was allowed to go on there?
Yeah, and let me lay this out. All right. As we go forward, have you, Joe, ever said something like customer service is dead? Customer service sucks these days, or something to that effect?
Right. Yeah, we've all I think people have got,
Customer service is dead, and I say we let it go. Bury it. As we go forward, it's more about consumer relations. And that's basically customer service to the nth degree. It's just, instead of me, referring Mr. Teel, when you come in, I'll start calling you Mr. Joe. And then when you start coming in as a customer, I'm going to know more about you. It's more relationship capital development than it is just advertising what you're selling.
Right.
So with that in mind, and that's what to me, that's what I call it. It's kind of consumer relations. And in a way, kind of got off track of where we were going here. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was saying, I was wondering how they went bad, how most of the interactions went bad.
And how did I get all the way over here?
I do this all the time. It's all good.
The interactions on Cheers and Jeers. Well, all right, here's where we were. And it comes down to why the thing got killed eventually, is because I'm glad you can edit.
I got you.
I'm trying to think of how to say this without pissing off certain people, and
that's almost impossible.
Yeah, no, it's possible. I just have a bad habit of just saying words without realizing the way other people are going to take it, because you can get lost in digital. It's like somebody texting you, and it's like, what's he pissed off about?
Yeah,
because he didn't say please. You know what I mean?
Texting is wild. I hate my brain will go left very fast too, just like that. But interpreting people's texts is treacherous. I definitely prefer to like call somebody. Like
the interactions you're asking about,
like your typical bad interaction where where you end up getting blamed for it. What's typically happening there where it's like, we hate Jeff?
My biggest problem for me, the moderators each had their own, for whatever people would pick on them. And truly they did most of the work because I'm lazy. I about 10:30 at night, I'd scroll through and, basically I'd see, how because that was a deal, man. You don't make any money off that. If you wanted to moderate that group, here's the deal I make you, Joe. You want to be a moderator? If somebody says Jeers Joe, I want you to delete the jeer and go ahead and ban that person so you don't have to deal with them anymore. That's the only perk you get as a moderator.
Oh, you kind of get to control like your own hate mail a little bit.
Yeah.
Public hate mail.
Right. But if it and this was my thing, if it comes in on me, let me have it.
No.
And I would try to lead by example. I'm going to tell you, Brangus feedlot shut down. They got a jeer, and the owner's son went on there and started arguing with everybody and cussing everybody. Asked me, have you ever been to fucking culinary school? No, but I eat every fucking day. I mean, I know what I like, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No.
But that was his words, and I mean, and this is in front of everybody to see. So, his dad calls me, and I'm like, man, I tried. He won't shut up.
Yeah.
Because the younger generation will get this. If you go on and you say, cheers, Jeff, I can say, thanks, Joe. Cheers, Jeff. Appreciate that. Cheers, Jeff. Right on. Cheers, Jeff. Hey, let's talk.
Yeah. Why?
Because we're all going to screw shit up. We're all going to screw up. I don't care what business you're in or how long you've been doing it. You're going to make a mistake. And somebody's going to take it the wrong way.
Right.
And how I respond is how this is going to escalate or not.
Do you think that you escalated some situations?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In an effort to understand it, I never had bad intention. I know that you don't have to believe that, but never had bad intention.
Somebody doesn't believe you.
Got caught up a lot in people like, oh, well, they advertise with him. I lost advertisers because they'd get jeered.
Yeah.
And I'd tell them, this is what you need to do. No, you need to delete it. We don't do that, man. Deal with them. This is an opportunity here locally in our little bubble. Here's an opportunity for them to bitch, you to accept responsibility, accountability, blame, whatever you want to call it, and try to make this right in front of all these local people to see.
You could win people over, in theory.
I'll use Small Cakes Bakery as an example because this was, first off, I had no idea how expensive, I've had a lot of weddings, just not a lot of wedding cakes.
Right.
I didn't have any idea how much people spent on that stuff until this jeer comes along. A guy, one day we had a little bit of ice. They're closed now, so I'm going to talk about them. You remember them, right? Small Cakes. They were mostly cupcakes.
Right. Okay. I guess I didn't. I don't remember.
Over on Richmond. And one day they opened 30 minutes late because there was a little bit of ice. It was actually a lot of ice, but they were
right.
Late
we don't do
opening.
well with ice in Texarkana.
They were late opening, and this guy goes on there and he just jeers this and jeers that. And she went on there and she said, I'm so sorry, but yeah, the ice was bad. He still got the birthday cake. The birthday wasn't until 2, but they told me to pick it up at 10, and they didn't even open till 10:30. That was his big complaint. The cake was great. Everything was great, but they weren't open at 10,
right,
like the sign said. That was the big jeer. And she apologized. I'm sorry. In fact, I'd like to give you a 4-pack of cupcakes. Well, no, you need to, give me my money back on the cake. He wanted everything for free. And that's what you get a lot out of that. People, if you don't do this or that, I'm going to go to Jeers and I'm going to
Oh, and like leveraging it.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, but she kept being nice and kept being nice. And people saw that and they came out and they were like, hey, man, she said she's sorry.
Yeah, that's.
She ended up getting, because of the traffic and the volume and that particular thread, she ended up getting an order from somebody for the bride's cake, a groom's cake, and then a wedding cake. And it was like $6,000.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she made a ton of money.
So his $100 complaint turned into $6,000.
Yeah, well, actually, I think the cake he got was only like $30-something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But she did everything she could in front of all of these people. Now, the same could be said the other way.
Right.
In the sense that I could come in here and just knock over Bobby and you'd say, get out.
Yeah, that would hurt me.
Right? Get the hell out of my place. I could go out there and, well, jeers to Joe Teel podcast. They're rude. I went in there and they did this, that, blah, blah, blah. you could get on your computer and go, hey, I'm Joe, man. I'm sorry you had a bad experience. Knowing damn well if I come back in here, you're going to hit me with a hammer or something, right?
Yeah, but you could get on Facebook and play the game, yeah.
You can respond. It gives you the chance to do something, to do business, to do good business and be seen by people at least making the effort.
Right.
Now, without that, and this was the downside that I did not see coming, and this is something that I would apologize to people here about. I guess by proxy, it kind of became the place to go to pitch a fit.
Yeah.
A lot of local folks would have seen that as bad if it was their business. Oh, that's terrible. But now they go to Yelp and they go to Google, and you can't do anything about those reviews.
No, that's
when
like
you get down to 1 star on Google, man, you're stuck there. There ain't nothing you can do about it. I can't go on and go, well, Joe, let's talk about your problem and work it out. Right. So everybody just saw it as, if somebody says Jeers, well, that's going to cost me this, that, or the other. No, it gives you an opportunity for them to learn about the man behind the brand kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's consumer relations. So as you go forward, it's more about Joe and not yes sir and no sir. It's
right.
more about Mr. Joe. And I appreciate you, Joe, and get to know your mama's name and, this kind of thing. That's good business. Good business has always been good business. It got to a point, and it's still at a point, I think, on social media where a lot of local businesses think that, well, I'll put up a page. We got a special on Friday. There it is. That's my advertising. And that's not it. That's not how you do it. You've got social media managers here that'll come and set up your business page and get your, URL set up and this, that, and the other, and then tell you how to post. They might even post for you. But they're not making you any money. Facebook pays you money on your business pages. You know that.
Right.
They pay you money for engagement. That doesn't mean you put up a picture and get 200 likes. What that means is when somebody comments, you reply to their comment. Think of engagement as $1. A like is 25 cents. A share is 25 cents. A follow or a comment's 25 cents. A reply is that last 25 cents to round up your buck. Now you've got 100% engagement, and that sets off the algorithms. And I'm talking about TikTok and Facebook, and they're all real similar as far as the way the algorithms work.
Right.
And when you get into that, that's where your consumer relations comes in. I want to build that relationship capital.
Right.
And I think that's our future. I really do.
Yeah. So do you think that social media can kind of be like a separate place from reality?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's best life is on social media.
Yeah, because nobody's just going out of their way to post negative stuff about themselves.
We were talking about podcasters earlier. Theo is a perfect example of somebody that puts their dirty laundry out there.
He does. He does. That's it's kind of refreshing.
And you listen to it and you're like, that's the realest guy, one of the realest guys.
I like when he talks about like cocaine and stuff, like being off of it and stuff. And
the weird, crazy things that he did, on it or for it.
Yeah.
And, he shares all of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's refreshing when you go to social media and you see that people are building.
I think you can go too far with the airing your dirty laundry though too on social media. I think people like can get on the pendulum. I only post positive stuff, and then but then there's the people that are on social media for the drama.
Yeah, well, and there's plenty of it. I mean, there's plenty of it, but I think, or I hope, I like to believe maybe,
right,
that people learn and they know that a post really doesn't mean anything.
Right.
It's just it's a fart in the wind. It's just.
But don't you think that your posts have influence though?
You hear that? Yeah, I haven't eaten yet. I think they can. I got one TikTok video. I think it's got close to 1 million now, where I explained that if I influence you, I blame your parents. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, because that's a title that somebody else will give you. Oh, he's a social media influencer. I'm not trying to influence anybody one way or another, but I'm at the same time, I'm not going to lie to you.
Right.
I'm too old to remember lies. Just to be honest, when I was a young man, drinking and partying and running around, and
that's one thing. You do have to remember a lie, don't you?
You got to remember it, and then you got to remember the lie you told to back up that lie, and it turns into a whole big thing. And when you're young, it seems like, well, you know what? I can just tell this quick lie and move on, and I'm done with it. And life doesn't work that way. Right. I'm too old for all of that now, and most all my friends have died, so I mean, there's no reason to pretend.
Right. Might as well just be straight up with it.
So I do. I think a lot of times I may share too much, even, but it's in my nature. I think I don't really have any secrets, and I'm fortunate. I think I'm blessed that at this point in my life, I don't have any secrets. My life's kind of an open book. So when it comes to social media and trolling and bullies, and there really ain't nothing you can do.
Right. It's kind of like I don't know.
And once you realize yourself, because we're going to get around to this, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but when you realize that you're nobody, that you're just a regular person that shits just like everyone else does. When people say stuff on social media, it really doesn't bother you as much. I mean,
right.
When you realize just how, and I don't mean this ugly, and I'm not trying to tell anybody on the edge that things are worse, but we really ain't shit. I mean, none of us really are.
Yeah.
And
do you think you can get to a point where you are?
I think a lot of people do, but I think mentally, when you start thinking that I am the shit, I am the best, I am the greatest, and somebody says one little bad thing, it hurts every little feeling you got.
You think you can take, so you're saying you think you could take yourself too serious?
Yes, you can. I think a lot of people, and a lot of people around here do.
Yeah.
For social media, for Facebook likes.
I used to record a ton of rappers, right? Yeah. So this was an audio studio first. Okay. And so that's where my background is audio. I did a ton of audio. I'm really good at it. But musicians just drove me up the wall. But I would just like the stuff they would brag about it would make me laugh. Like not the like the guys that would come in, because that's just common. They would come in and rap about like cars and stuff that they don't have. And that's, to me, I'd rather listen to that than the guy that's bragging about like running Texarkana.
Yeah, well,
because I'm like, even if you were running Texarkana, like, big fucking deal.
You're doing a shit job of it, is what, you know what I mean?
So it's that kind of mentality of like,
we got our mom and pop hamburger joints begging for customers. Meanwhile, Jack in the Box got them lined up around the block. Yeah, that is the shittiest tacos I've ever had. Well, I don't know. Sometimes they're good. It depends on how drunk you are.
Yeah. Cheers, I said cheers. Cheers, Jack in the Box. No, shit. It is funny.
Cheers, yeah, whoever, man, whichever. And that's the thing. I think there's more room to work, though, with a jeer than there is a cheer. There really is.
Because it's like, thank you. And you're done.
And whether I mean it or not, all I got to say to you is, Joe, and thank you. I went into business to do better, not worse. And I appreciate your feedback. If it weren't for folks like you, I would keep screwing up and make things worse. Now, do you believe that? Maybe, maybe not, right? But it affected your feelings. I spoke to you like it was important.
Right.
Maya Angelou, long time ago. People will forget everything you say and do. They will always remember how you made them feel. And so, again, we're back to consumer relations. Hello, sir, as you come in, or I can be, Joe, good to see you, man. Come on in.
That's always better. Yeah.
It's a little more feeling.
You think people nowadays operate more off feelings than when they used to, or has it always been like this?
No, everybody's emotional. It's all feelings now. And
do you think that this, like, because some people will say, well, if we hyperfixate on feelings, then maybe we can help correct some of these feelings. But I tend to feel like if you hyperfixate on feelings, then you'll just you like jump off a cliff for your feelings. What do you think?
Man, again, I'm sorry I haven't done more research because I'm not trying to offend anybody in anyone's audience. But man, no, people are way too soft now. I had my little nephew out at the range earlier. He's going to go deer hunting. And so I wanted to hook him up with his pawpaw. His pawpaw's gone. But I wanted to hook him up with his pawpaw's deer rifle. And it's one of them old school 270s.
Oh, nice.
Just boom.
Yeah.
So took him out there and shot a box of shells. And as soon as the soreness wears off, we'll go shoot another. But, I think, feelings, your feelings.
Well,
I don't want to offend anybody. But I
think we're getting trained to like self-censor. Do you think so?
I know I am, yeah.
Because there's been like 50 times already in this deal today that you've been like, well, I probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah, well, I do, and I'm trying really hard. And that's why I was trying to ask you about, you said Spotify and what else? YouTube?
Just Spotify and YouTube. I don't, but I mean, they, this is, I have a business. It's working fine. This is fun.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying myself and I'm talking to cool people and stuff. Would I like monetary stuff to come from it? Yeah. I'll cross that bridge when I get there though. But I know that I can take
care of that after this then.
Yeah.
So
I know that I've probably already said something that's probably moved me back and, maybe cross some type of line or something, especially on my other show. I have another show called Addicted to Arguing, where it's me and this other guy. We just talk shit for an hour.
Just argue?
Yeah, a lot of arguing, a lot of just...
What do y'all argue about?
Oh, man, at first we were coming with topics, and it was a lot better. But then we got lazy and just started shooting the shit every week for an hour.
Just pull up
But yeah, we would just... we would just go through and just...
Well, I think this. Well, I think that. That'd be cool, man. I'd watch that. It's kind of like Springer out of control.
Yeah, that show would get me in trouble way faster than this. I'm always more controlled and more measured on this show.
Like I say, it just depends on my local Facebook more than anything. I got just a couple of folks that run a group here and all the time reporting stuff. Oh, this is spam. That's nudity. It's like I never put clothes on my dog. I've never done that. And I think people that do have issues. So, not really. I guess I did put a shark suit on him one Halloween, now that I think about it. But
I dressed my dog up as Batman a couple years ago.
Yeah, but it's just the craziest stuff, and it's like, man, really, these people, they're all the time, and for what likes. Now, if it was for sponsorships or for dollars or even trophies, maybe I could see that, but I found myself self-censoring myself a lot, and I think it's because of now I don't know how you feel about all this, and we may not go too far into it, but like just the big censor push that happened in the past couple of years. I'm going to tell you, I make money on TikTok, and I'm kind of back and forth with Google right now on YouTube. There was a.
Do you get demonetized every once in a while?
Yeah. Monetize everything. Yeah. Monetize everything. So I'll start, especially like lately, not so much on YouTube because like I'm dealing with a monetization issue with them over. I let a group that put together a mixed martial arts fighting group. I let them use my YouTube channel for like the first 19 fights. And then when they sold to somebody, somebody paid $2 million, bought it out.
Oh, so now there's some type of rights deal, yeah.
And then they said, copyright infringements, went through. They could have just said, hey, man, they could have had them and put them on another, once they made it a real business. Somehow or another, I got caught up in the middle and screwed again. So not so much YouTube, but TikTok, man, doing a live the other day. And we had a few thousand people in there, and somebody walked behind me smoking a cigarette, and we got restricted for alcohol or tobacco products.
Wow.
And then that affects your video views.
Yeah. I think one of the main reasons they do that is because they was all them young kids would be on TikTok vaping.
Well, that and I mean, I get it. I mean, you saw me chunk my cigarettes over there when we started, right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I want to get you in trouble because there was a tobacco.
Okay, so let me ask you this then.
I'm on one platform. I can't even have a Lipton tea unless I say it.
Yeah, that's crazy. How do you feel about censorship?
I hate it. I do. I mean, Listen, one of the last official things that I did, I worked on a project with the Department of the Navy, and it was called Media is the Battlefield, Techniques, Tactics, and Procedures. And here we are in 2024, and I can see the book.
And what year was that?
2000, it'd been 2005. And that's before Facebook really blew. At the time, the only social media that we really factored into our studies was
MySpace. Yeah.
And Tom, he wasn't gonna do this kind of stuff to nobody, right?
Yeah, Tom wasn't in your business.
Tom is a good guy.
Yeah, Tom wasn't in your business.
So, but now you've got all these other different avenues and everything. But propaganda is the same thing. And then once that was legalized to do here, and we started letting just one person own all these radio. I mean, we just sold 200 United States broadcast facilities to a foreign entity. That's against everything that broadcast has ever been in the United States. The first thing we do in our interfering with other countries is take over their communications.
Yeah.
And now we've sold our communications to a foreign power.
That's like Hitler gave out free radios. He wanted you to hear what he
had to say.
Yeah.
Well, here we are in 2024, and it's not the same, obviously, but it's not real different in a sense. So, yeah, I'm against censorship. I think that you're smart enough to know if I'm talking bullshit or not.
Right.
And
I think you should be able to be wrong on the internet.
Yeah.
As long as you're not, I just feel like obviously there is some type of line where it's just
at the same time, you need to have accountability for it, though. And that's where
smart people come in and correct you.
And you accept that I made a mistake. I mean, you see Theo Vaughn doing it all the time. Joe Rogan will do it. He'll walk it back. He'll be like,
he's changed on a lot of opinions, yeah.
Yeah, that's human.
Yeah.
And I think we all have that ability. Living on your feelings, and this makes me feel that, and I need to feel this, and I need to relax. I'm overwhelmed. I need to, suck it up. I'm just, and not trying to be ugly. I mean, if you're sensitive, then by all means, be sensitive. I'm not.
Yeah.
And I don't think I should have to be. At the same time, I don't think somebody that isn't should be tougher. I really don't.
Right. Yeah, because that's their
be you, man.
Yeah,
Be you.
Be soft.
Yeah, if you want to be soft and do that.
Yeah.
That's what freedom is.
Right.
Freedom's not being able to run around doing any bullshit you want. Freedom's not having to do what you don't want.
Right. But you still have to follow guidelines. And so that the whole deal is guidelines. So censorship is the over censorship, I guess, is them crafting guidelines in order to push things in a certain direction. I feel like that's when we're getting away from free speech.
I got to stick with my upbringing and my raising, and because my mama's still with me and will still get on me. But we got our mouths washed out with soap. Not the Christmas Story. What was that? Life Boy. I think we just had Ivory or something.
Wow.
It was the one that floated because we carved stuff out of them. But we got our mouths. That was censorship in a sense. It wasn't censorship as much as teaching us what you don't say. What you don't say. And, there's certain things I try to censor myself because I don't want to use foul language around women. I just don't.
Right.
And then you'll have some folks in their feelings these days talk about, oh, well, that's me discriminating somehow against women. No, that's me being respectful. And so when everybody starts bringing their feelings into it, it's whatever you feel it is.
Yeah.
How are we going to get... we can't get along that way.
Yeah,
not everybody's going to be able to get along that way if all of our feelings are out there.
Yeah.
We talked about earlier texts, because I'll do it driving down the road. Hey, can you stop by and get so-and-so and so-so? Okay. And then they write back, what are you mad about? No, I'm driving down the road, so I end up calling people and because everybody's Well, that's not what I felt.
That's one thing I learned so the studio, like I've always been involved in my family business, but the studio was like my first business and it was me. And I was the one in charge. Yeah. I had to fix the problems. Mm-hmm. And I quickly learned that, and so it was on some podcast I listened to back in the day, and these guys just taught basically. And they were like, you never need to settle some type of dispute like typing. It's so much better to just call somebody. Yeah. And so like somebody send me mad, blah, 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 something about a song. I would just immediately call them. And I'd be like, and it's a whole different energy anyway, too, because they're mad texting. But when you confront
it's
somebody.
Supposed to be la, la, la.
Yeah. So I would call them. I'd be like,
how do you read this? You know,
I say, hey, what is the issue? What is the deal? Like, I'm not hanging up till we figure this out. So much better than going into, because you can the problem with text is you can interpret one text. If somebody sends you a paragraph, you could take that paragraph like 10 different ways.
Lost in digital translation.
I think that probably happened in the comments too, probably of like Cheers and Jeers, huh?
All the time. Like Miss Brandy was probably the longest moderator. As far as moderating, she stuck with it longer than most. And took some of the harshest. I'm serious. Mr. Teel, would you please take a look at this post? This is a former employee that da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then they'll send her in the next message, hey, bitch, take down da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, it was, that got crazy.
Yeah.
And it got to the point I just didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Was there a feeling of relief?
Oh yeah.
When you first deleted it, you were just like,
but then I had everybody pissed off and pissed off at me because other people started Cheers and Jeers groups.
I checked on it the other day. There's more than one right now.
Oh yeah, I'm in the one with the thumb thing on it. I don't know what that one is. It's one of them, but a bunch of them popped up. There was one chick named Chrissy. Sorry. There was this one person that had made a post and was having a real tough time, cheers, and was asking for help. And me personally, I smoked a turkey and a ham for these people for Thanksgiving. This is around Thanksgiving time. And she's going on and on about all of her problems and issues. And then her mother gets into the comments and says she's lying, this, that, and the other. She's been stealing my cancer meds, the whole bit, man. Then she got arrested. She started blowing up my phone. Delete that, delete that, delete that. I'm like, it won't. And I told her, how sometimes, have you ever dealt with that issue that sometimes your phone, it'll be like, no, can't do it at this time.
Technology has got you in a bind.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I can do it when I get to my lap. No, you need to do it now. By the time I got it deleted, her probation officer had already picked up on the post and away she went.
Oh, wow.
She was revoked. And that was the first other Cheers and Jeers that came out. I think she's gone now. I don't even think she lives here anymore.
So yes, she was probably sitting in a jail cell very angry at Jeff.
Because I didn't delete it in my phone.
But you got to think, her actual problem don't have a damn thing to do with you. Her problem is stealing her mama's cancer medicine and stealing and stuff like that. That's not your problem.
I had a moderator whose father died, and never mind. No, I'll say it. Needed funds, and I was happy to help.
Right.
And today, one of my biggest haters. All because one day, being a smart ass, when I should have censored myself more than likely, he said something about he thought he ought to make money off moderating this or that. And I said, well, I think you ought to pay me back too. And now, ever since then, enemies. Oh, he hates me. Hates my guts.
Yeah. How do
cheers.
You? Yeah, cheers.
But no, Cheers and Jeers. I think. A lot of people, and that's the thing, a lot of people make their decisions on how they're going to feel about somebody in their feelings. They just read something or they got upset or they're mad about something. and you don't say exactly what they want to hear, or you tell them the opposite of what they want to hear, or just tell them the truth most of the time, and you're going to be the bad guy.
No.
I'm fine with that. But I do, the regrets of Cheers and Jeers, I regret not letting the moderators know that I'd had enough. I should have checked in with them. Jesse Tillis tagged me.
Darby, that's my boy. I like Darby.
And he was one of the moderators. I should have checked with him. I should have told him what I was going to do. But instead, just one day, it was all gone. And so their phones blew up like, what happened? What happened? And, I don't know. I just, you know what? It was one of those times where you just...
It was like, you think it was like a split decision? It was just like...
No, it's something I'd been wanting to do for a long time.
How long do you think the time period was where you were like, I think my life would be better without this?
Oh, at least 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I wanted out. And that's why, that's one of the... It's kind of funny to me, not to the moderators, but to me, they did all the work.
Yeah.
I really didn't have anything to do. The deleting, the banning people, that wasn't me. But I take responsibility because I asked you to come in and be the moderator here. So whatever you do is my fault.
It's like an employee at that point.
And so I had no problems, if Miss Brandy decided that this person's got to go, if they message me, hey, nothing I can do about it. Wouldn't do about it. So, and that created real life conflict.
Yeah.
Somebody would really get mad but I'm telling them, you need to respond. Well, just ignore it and it'll go away. Well, no, ignore it is an admission of guilt. Go on there and tell them, hey, I screwed up, man, and I wouldn't have known about it if you hadn't have said nothing.
Right.
Gee, thanks. Jeers for this too. You know what? That's a good point, man. We're just going to get rid of that altogether. Thank you. Damn it, I got nothing to be pissed off about.
Right. So do you think people want to be mad?
Yeah. I think people are mad and they don't know why. And they're looking for a reason. We need to have a reason. Why do I feel this way? Why am I so anxious? Why am I so nervous? Why am I upset?
Which it could be 1,000.
That guy.
It could be 1,000 different things that are causing it. Diets, lifestyles, habits.
It's politics.
Everything.
They're trying to pop people off. I mean, it's just, it's crazy. And they're in their feet over politics. Over people that ain't never going to know your name.
Yeah.
And you want to get mad and fight with real people that you know.
Yeah, actual people you know.
And I just don't.
The thing that's been killing me.
But I know they're reading. I was there for the writing of the book, man.
Yeah.
I see people they've been convinced that they're right and this is the way it's supposed to be, and they believe what they're told because everybody's telling them.
Yeah.
You were talking about Eric earlier. You did an interview with Eric.
Yeah.
And
Eric Aiken, great guy.
Yeah, it turns out we're cousins. Hey, cuz. So we had messaged back and forth, but met earlier today. And I got distracted, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, you said something about Eric because we were talking about people looking to be mad. I'm the same way. I follow little trails all the time, and I just try to stay on them the best I can.
I get thrown. Well, like I say, I've got blown up a couple. Concussed a lot.
Right.
So,
and that was from was that from the military or was from
military and fighting? Yeah.
How many years were you in the military?
5.
5. Cool. And it was Navy, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And you know what? I'd like to skip around a little bit and share something with you while I'm thinking about it before I forget.
Sure.
So anybody that wanted to do this, groups is kind of a way around the Facebook algorithm. Do you know this?
Mm-mm.
You could put a page up and a profile up and this, that, and the other, but you got groups. And one of the cool things about groups is if you make a post in this group and it slides down the wall and 3 days from now somebody likes it, it jumps it right back to the top of the group. Top of the wall again.
For the person that likes that group already.
Well, if somebody likes it or if somebody comments or there's any kind of engagement on it,
But back on
it moves it back to the wall of that group.
Okay, right.
That's why sometimes you can log into a group and you see a post and you're like, holy crap. And you realize, oh, that's 2022. Right. You know, the date out to the side, you know, because
somebody went creeping. So somebody went creeping, they could bring that thing right back to the top.
Absolutely. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to do with FYI Media, and this is kind of a shitty thing to do, but in some of these markets that we were new into, like Abilene, Texas, you know, I mean, I haven't been there. I have no social media presence whatsoever. So you take a blurry photo, okay? Hello, Facebook. You take a blurry photo of what looks like a topless girl. And you make a post in this group. Does anybody recognize this chick, whatever language you want to use, that sent this picture to my husband? That's all you got to put on there, man.
Oh, no.
Call it Abilene Homewreckers.
Abilene Homewreck. I was going to go crazy.
It will blow up, and you'll have 10,000 members by the end of the week.
Wow.
So on Monday, you started this. You got 10,000 members on Friday for Homewreck, and that's the only post in there so far, and people are looking at it. It looks like I think I recognize
Jessica.
It looks like kind of, hey, is this you? You know, kind of, you know, so all this is going on, and people are joining just over because, man, we're going to find out. This is going to blow up. Now I got 10,000 members, and then on Friday, I change it to Joe Teel's podcast.
Oh, wow.
Make that the name of the group. Half the people are like, what the hell? I've never joined this group. They leave. You still got 5,000 members.
Wow.
So now when you want to post something, you post it. And as the admin, when you make a post, they get a notification, even if they turn off notifications. So that's the trick.
Yeah.
That's why you want to build groups.
Yeah, because you could just change the name of them later. And
yeah.
It's a
I'm
game.
not in Abilene, so I don't have to deal with the fallout
Yeah,
of,
right.
you know, so.
Imagine, I just think of some poor lady that everyone decides that's her. It's just like fictional.
Yeah, you got it off Google and it's like, oh, that's my mama.
That's my mom. Yeah.
But, you know, vice versa. It could be, you know, who's this, you know, sent this, and you could put the tennis ball over, who sent this pic to my wife?
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to find a lot of manly men that would go on Facebook and put that sort of thing. But, you know, who sent this dick pic to my old lady?
You know that one of the biggest groups I just recently heard about, it's girls, it's all girl group, and they just talk about guys that are trying to date multiple girls, and so they catch them.
Listen, one of my I make a couple $100 a month off one video.
Really?
Called Man Rules. Man Rules. It's on TikTok. It's on all of the platforms.
I gotta go follow you on TikTok.
TikTok's the one that makes the money. Women. I made a video about how simple men are. Just how simple they are. I mean, we're not that complicated. We'd like to think we are.
Yeah.
We're not. And I got strange women arguing with me.
Oh, the comment section is just women.
Wanting to
the
argue.
post is about men,
and
but
I'm
it's
trying to
just
explain. I'm trying to tell you that women make things more complicated, and here you've made 14 posts.
Complicating
you made 14 comments on a stranger's profile that's telling you how simple men are, and we don't care. But yeah, it's funny to me. But at the same time, you're talking about this group of women. Women hunt in packs.
Oh yeah.
They do. If you piss her off, you've also pissed off her sister and her mama and her best friend and her best friend's cousin, and they're all coming. And it don't have to be true to be on social media, right? They can say anything they want to.
Yeah.
Till you realize you ain't nobody. A lot of lies can hurt. Once you realize that, wow, man, look at the stuff they're making up about nobody like me.
Yeah, they must really not have something going on.
I mean, it's sad almost.
Yeah.
I say sad, but I do laugh about it. It's kind of funny.
I like comedy. I like humor. I think that in a society should be able to make fun of be anything, you know. And I think that,
and that's just the thing. But no, that might hurt my feelings, Joe.
Yeah, I'm not with that. I'm more of like a.
Don't you? Aren't you concerned with my feelings?
Not particularly.
Right, and that's the truth. And and since when did telling the truth make you the bad guy?
This is that time.
I mean, I grew up. If we told a lie, we got our mouths wide. We still told lies.
Yeah.
I was talking to my dad died rather young, before he was 50, and some issues. I got grandchildren now, and realize at this point in my life how shitty my brother and I were to my dad. Not on purpose, but the fact that he was gone to work when we woke up in the morning, he was already working. And when we was getting ready for bed, he was getting off from sometimes his second, third job. You know, he worked hard. And he'd come in, and I remember times where he'd come in, he'd be like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" You know, he was just happy to see us. And Mama would be like, "This one did that, and that one did this, and I need you to whoop their ass." And he's like, and I remember him just, okay.
Yeah.
The few minutes he gets to spend with his kids today, and he's got to whoop their ass. Now, we had it coming. And that was the thing, when I was telling the story. I mean, when you tell the story of the good old days, sounds like they were just beating the shit out of kids and throwing them out of the back of pickup trucks and whatnot. And it wasn't nothing like that, man. We had it coming. We earned
it, yeah.
those whoopings. But man, that was sorry of us to do that to my dad. You know,
yeah. I have a lot of regrets from my mom passed when I was 17.
Oh man,
yeah, and so. I definitely feel that. I've had those moments of like, man, like we could have treated mom like so much better. And you know, you only get one mom.
Yeah, but it's 17. Man.
Yeah, and I always I try to work my way back there. You know, grief doesn't really never go away. You just get better at handling it a little bit.
Yeah, time doesn't heal nothing.
No, I definitely don't think.
No,
I think you may get stronger as a person.
That's all that happens.
Yeah,
that's all that time does.
Yeah.
Well, time turns the blister to a callus.
Right.
And that's kind of what happens. Time heals all wounds. No, it don't.
I don't believe that.
It just makes you stronger to them. You know, you got a strong back off all the bad things that have happened to you in your life.
Yeah.
You know, and so when I hear some of these youngsters today talk about, well, they cussed in front of me and I'm traumatized.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I've seen trauma, man. You got hurt feelings is what you've got. You're not trauma. Well, my therapist says that, you know, my truth, there's no my truth. Your truth. It's just truth.
Yeah, just regular.
They need the time maybe to toughen their feelings. I don't know.
Yeah. One thing, like you say the word callous. To me, okay, so I work outside. I would like to think that like I don't have like little soft girly hands.
Right.
You know, if I go out with soft hands and go do something, what happens? That like you blister, it hurts. To keep someone so soft and then so like I I'm gonna upset somebody here. Like you get on like the gentle parenting stuff. Like I personally feel like not that I'm just like extra mean to my kids or nothing, but I'm more of the like
it's discipline. It's not mean,
right? Because I don't want to send you out into the world with no calluses.
That's a great analogy,
right? I don't want to go out and do things that are going to hurt me if I don't have a little bit of calluses. The world sucks, right? The world's tough.
And it's not going to be any safer than it is right now, Joe.
Right.
Right this minute.
Safe spaces, stuff like that. I just don't think that actually makes you a tougher person. If you think about the gym, the gym, your success comes from the resistance, right? You get stronger from lifting heavy shit. You know, you have to lift that heavy shit or you don't get stronger. I think that...
You know, I could have been a poet if it hadn't have been for my bullies.
Right.
So I got to appreciate that. I mean, the life that I've lived, I mean, it ain't for everybody. But for me, it's been it's been fun.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of weirdness, but, you know, I've enjoyed it. If I'd been living in my feelings, man, all the stuff I would have missed.
Yeah.
You know, and all the stuff that other people are going to have to miss worried about my feelings. I mean, it's like this whole thought police thing that they're wanting to do now. Now, I mean, perfect example is a Democrat. What's her name was on the news earlier today talking about that Trump needs to be extinguished. Here they are again.
Did you see the poll that said that 25% of America, or like of this poll, decided that it would just be better if Trump got killed? It's like, holy shit.
To put out that poll.
It's crazy.
Back when I was a kid coming up in the 70s, you could get locked up for saying that type of shit, much less putting it on the internet, on a video.
A poll about it. Should a former president be killed? That is insane work. That is wild.
and it's the wording. And that's just the thing. All right, let's
do it. Whatever's getting you, let's do it. I don't want to. No.
Okay. Whatever, no, we'll do it. No, we're going to do it. There are some absolute truths in the world. Eric and I were talking about this earlier today. I almost talked about this earlier, but let's go ahead and talk about it. There are absolute truths in the world. For me, my faith is an absolute truth. God is real. That's true. And nobody is ever going to be able to convince me otherwise. That's an absolute truth. So there are others. And among those things, I took from some of my fighting experience, I took some lessons to put into my business life. And part of that being what I call the John 3:16 of sales. Right? This could be used in any way you want. I'm putting it in context as advertising, okay? For fun and educational purposes only. I don't know. I'm on all these platforms, man.
Yeah,
everybody's got all these different things you got to do.
Yeah.
And I want you to grow because, you got such a great thing going here.
Thank you.
But you have to have 4 things to make a campaign work. Right? I have to have reach. How many people are going to see and or hear this message? Right? I have to have frequency. How often are these people going to hear and see this message? I have to have consistent messaging, meaning we have to be saying the same thing, down to the same words. 4th, you have to have consistency in presentation. If you have those 4 keys, you're going to be successful. If it's advertising, it could be billboards, television, even radio, maybe even newspapers still.
A podcast.
Podcasts is the few. I'm sure you've got more folks listening to you than like the newspaper does.
Well,
I can almost...
my deal is clips. That's where I get the most clips now. But it is harder to get someone to listen to.
Yeah, put it on your shorts on YouTube.
I do that. Yeah, but it's just I'm more, so like I think I'm more of a complicated thinker, and shorts. They kind of upset me because it's like, I understand. Yeah, I want you to understand more what I'm saying. I give you this little clip of me telling.
Watch part 2.
Yeah, that type of stuff. But
watch part 94.
That's what I need. I need like a 90 because I really want to get my point across. Like and because like you say, everything's up for interpretation. I feel like the more words you say, you can take more of the interpretation out because you can explain yourself better.
That's just the thing. Have you seen? Okay, I know this has gone around X, so I'm sure you've seen the video where different newscasters from different parts of the country
all say the same thing.
Are all saying this, and they kind of layer them on top of each other, and
it fits.
That is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Media is the battlefield. Now, is that news? Is that advertising? Is that propaganda? What is that? Doesn't matter. They have the 4 keys: reach, frequency. Same message presented consistently.
The same way. Yeah.
You do that over and over and over and over again. Every one of you watching this drives an advertised car. You sleep on an advertised mattress. You brush your teeth with advertised toothpaste. Your armpits are holding advertised deodorant. Everything. Things that you've never even used, you know about. Well, I need to go get some. If I was to say you need to get some laundry detergent, the first thing you're going to think of is Tide.
Yeah, that's immediately what I thought.
It's the first thing you thought of. Yeah. Because they spent more money
to
get their message out. So it's called TOMA, top of mind awareness. Tide's the first thing you think of. It's the same thing with Kleenex. Right? They got puffs.
Yeah, but if you say hand me a
Kleenex.
tissue,
Yeah.
I think Kleenex.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
So you saying they just spent more money?
Listen, what do we have here? I don't use them, but we have, do we have Lyft still? Anywhere you go,
I think it's just,
you got Uber
Uber's the main thing.
and you got Lyft. And Uber is the most popular. Why? Because they were first. That's the only reason. Right? Uber is one of the largest transportation companies in the world and doesn't own a single vehicle.
Wow.
Right? Airbnb, one of the largest rental companies, management companies in the world, doesn't own any property.
So Airbnb doesn't have any houses themselves, right? It's all just make money off
users.
Joe's closet he's renting for $1,500 if you're interested. I got a closet space for you. You can do whatever you want in that
Just
closet. I don't
Airbnb it.
care.
Yeah, Airbnb at Wadley, they'll buy it up. Yeah, they got all those traveling nurses. They'll Airbnb everything. But so yeah, it's again, here we go off on a different route, right?
We're advertising,
But
to bring it all back around.
It can be advertising. It could be news.
Yeah.
It could be some bullshit I made up. But if I get enough people saying it enough times and enough people hearing it,
Right.
people are going to believe it.
That's true. One thing I like about
Channel 3 also said it.
Yeah.
Well, Channel 6 said it ain't going to rain at all.
Well, yeah.
You know, I mean, so.
One thing I like about podcasts is that, and Joe Rogan said this the first time. He said the reason his podcast is so long and that he doesn't edit very much is because he says the longer you talk to somebody, you kind of can gauge more of their actual feelings. And that's one issue I have with the news is I don't really watch the news ever. Like I don't like the little neat package 5-minute segment of what you're trying to give me. That's too, and I understand people love the news.
Oh, no, I get exactly where you're coming
I'd rather listen to two dudes talk for an hour and a half and explain what they think.
You've got the mind to hear other people's ideas and then go research for your own.
Right.
It's called reading. And everybody used to do it,
I read 2 books this week.
Before memes came out, that memes does not count as reading.
Somewhere out there, there's a 20-year-old person that's going to make their they're going to make their campaign decision. They're going to make their vote this year based off the memes they saw.
Does that not scare the shit out of you?
Yeah.
Somebody that wasn't even around when 9/11 happened.
Right.
Wasn't even born yet. But we're going to trust them. I'm listening. Hey, you can judge me on my politics all you want, but I got grandchildren. I volunteered on Bill Clinton's presidential campaign. As a Democrat, I voted for Bill Clinton. I didn't give a shit about Bill Clinton, but this little girl that worked for Bill Clinton, I liked her a lot. Mm-hmm. So I volunteered. Any chance I could have to be around, that made me a Democrat. And I thought I was a Democrat. I voted Democratic. And then I got into a stage of voting for the person and the policies. And then there was a little stage where I was going to vote Republican. Now I'm all about this new unity party idea with, I hate Trump.
You don't like Trump? Yeah.
I don't like him.
Yeah.
But I don't like any other president.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think I've really liked any of my best bosses that I've ever had. I've never liked them either.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking for friends. I'm not. I'm looking for somebody. Strong men are going to follow strong men. Weak men are going to follow anybody.
Right.
It's that simple for me. I don't like the guy. I would not hang out with him. I couldn't. Yeah. He's like every other loudmouth New Yorker know-it-all that I've ever met in my life.
He definitely has a lot of flaws. But
that doesn't make him a bad person.
Right.
That doesn't make him a bad human man. That doesn't make him a bad father or any of that. You know what I'm saying? That's my feeling. I don't feel like we would get along. Like we'd have a lot in common. We don't. He's a billionaire. I got $12. We're not,
it's a little different.
Yeah. He plays golf. I shoot guns. I mean, we don't.
You shoot guns. He gets shot at.
Yeah. We got, a lot of differences. I would, however, love to play poker with Kamala Harris.
You think she'd be good at it?
Oh, no, I think she'd be a shit. She's such a liar. Got all these, and the tales. And I mean, any poker player out there, I don't care what your politics are.
Yeah.
Any poker player out there, tell me I'm lying. A liar like that with as many tails as she has and got money and stupid, that's who I want to gamble with. Damn right. But no, I for the longest time, I thought I was a Democrat. And I've always had liberal ideas. Folks would say, "Oh, well, I'm a libertarian."
Libertarian.
Well, I'm not really anything. This Unity Party interests me because I really like RFK.
Like RFK.
Not so much the man. When I say I like somebody, again, he's right there with Trump. I could care less. He doesn't know me. I don't know him. But his ideas, he's a very intelligent man.
Oh, yeah.
Very smart.
Sometimes I wonder if his voice still is like turning people off to him.
It is, he's got an impediment, but, I'm not going to lie. I mean, just here as a normal person out here, at first it was kind of, I was like, what's wrong with that guy, man? Has he got some, clear your throat, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but then, okay.
You get used to it. I've listened to him on 3 podcasts now, so I probably heard him talk for like 5 hours.
Is he wrong?
I like the health stuff.
Have you heard anything that you go, no, that ain't right?
I like the health stuff. I just watched a video they put out about, they're trying to do something about how bad our food is, because our food is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
And like a lot of the stuff in our food's banned in other countries. Like they wouldn't touch these red dyes.
We're giving babies vaccines for diseases that we haven't had in decades.
That is interesting.
They're gone.
But you can't. It's hard. You got to be careful saying stuff like that. They'll say you're an anti-vaxxer.
I am. My doctor is.
Huh.
My physician. I don't want to get you in trouble. With anything. This is all entertainment purposes and everything.
Yeah,
but
it's just like
when I went to school, Joe. There's only a couple of things I remember from microbiology. Okay, the first thing. I was working at a place at the time, and it was through association, I was able to remember that the correct rectal temperature of a healthy rabbit is 102.5 degrees. Pretty useless, right?
Right.
The other thing I remember from microbiology, RNA creates your DNA. The RNA in your body tells your DNA what to be. If I start introducing somebody else's RNA, I'm not me anymore. My physician, local physician in Texarkana, Texas, told me, do not take vaccines. And he's talking about chickenpox. All vaccines are moving to mRNA technology because it's cheaper to manufacture and they don't have any liability. They don't have to worry about being sued. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
Now, so they're moving it all to mRNA because that is a cheaper way to produce a lot of nothing, really.
Yeah.
So he and that's what he told me. As of right now, he said, I'm still good for the shingles shot if I wanted to take, but otherwise, don't trust vaccines. That came from my physician. Now, if that had just come from Facebook, Facebook says, don't take them.
No.
What's Facebook know?
Yeah, well, Facebook would have took that down.
Well,
that never would have made it past Facebook.
If Joe had come to me and said, hey, man, listen, this is what I know. Don't do this. I'd be like, Joe?
Yeah.
The rap engineer? What? Or Jeff said, if Jeff on this podcast, he said, don't take what I said and don't trust Google. You ever been to Scholar? Google Scholar?
Huh?
It's still Google, I guess, technically, but scholar.google, that's where you go, man.
Really?
Yes, especially if it's on scientific studies, because it's all peer-reviewed studies and posts. It's all, if I'm a medical doctor and I put it up there, now 1,000 other medical doctors have been over it and they have their summations at the end. What I like about it more than anything, though, is at the beginning of these studies, it has like a summary for dummies.
Yeah, I need that.
Yeah, DNA for dummies kind of thing. And I can read that. and get the gist of pretty much most of it. If I find it interesting enough, well, then I can dig off into the study and find its location and read the scientific jargon for, where they church it up this way and that way. But they usually make it too difficult for somebody of my mentality to understand.
Yeah, well, I'm more of a summary guy. I'll probably be in.
Yeah, so a lot of times that may be all I get until, an argument breaks out in one of these lives I host or something, and then I need to go back and get the info, but...
Well, that's the thing. You're saying I trust when I get information from a trusted source, right? They, during the C word, they were censoring... they were censoring people that were like legitimate scientists, though.
They're doing it now. I got shadow banned off this stupid ass video about monkeypox. The filters that you can do on some of these apps.
Yeah.
Basically, I put on a mask and I was talking about, well, they warned us. They told us it was coming. Now look.
No, yeah.
And when you take the mask off, it makes your face look like monkeypox. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I got a whole episode took down off YouTube on my other channel, the other one. And it was us making a joke about the C word. I'd be scared to say it sometimes.
Well, yeah. So here you are having to censor yourself.
Self-censor, yeah. But I feel like they've censored so hard that we kind of do their job for them now. I think most people that talk on
You're a younger man than me. Not that much, but enough so that we were came up a little bit different.
How was that?
Well, the yes ma'ams and the no sirs and the censoring and the foul language and mixed company. And it's by nature this has happened. It's not anybody's in particular's fault, but our morals have kind of slipped away. Our norms, the mores that we used to live by in
you're kind of
society.
describing like a respect censoring. Like this is censoring that it doesn't necessarily have to do with respect.
And that's where we're going. It's going not only from censoring the content, but now the idea of the content. Thought police. I mean, everybody watching your podcast has seen The Matrix.
Right.
And nobody was like, come on, Agent Smith, you can do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But here you are in the real world and you got people sitting here giving you proof that the food is fucked up.
Yeah.
The drug companies are killing you.
Yeah, big pharma, bad.
Yeah, there ain't no cure in heals.
Yeah.
Or there ain't no money in a cure. Whatever, I mean, it's...
Yeah.
They got to have treatments. Well, if we run out of things, maybe we can give you a medication that creates, I don't know, let's say a heart condition that now all these millions of people need heart medicine.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And it's fucked up. But you're going to sit back and the people telling you that everything's okay, you're going to believe them. Because your feelings. I feel like they wouldn't lie to me.
Yeah, that's
not me.
That's something I've been doing less lately, starting to think like, okay, I guess I had this idea growing up.
I'm going
like
to get you in all kinds of trouble on this stuff. I know I am. I'm sorry.
Well, I go these routes normally, and that may be why I don't get as many views on YouTube as I think I should. But oh man, where was I going with that?
I'm still mad at YouTube. And Peak Fighting, I'm mad at YouTube, man. I let them use my YouTube channel to post all their videos.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, I'm understanding that situation more now when you say that.
Hit with copyright.
Yeah.
They're the ones that put it there, not me.
Yeah, it's just, oh man, it's something like, it's like, okay, I'm hoping that maybe.
Dude, you'll understand if I was to tell you that what that has done, and I sent off the paperwork today, right before I met with Eric. Google owes me $18,000.
Oh, wow.
Off YouTube, and that's all been held up because of this group that I let use my platform.
Wow.
So be careful who you trust with your stuff, man. That's all.
Yeah, I get.
It's all worked out, and the money will be here.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah,
at least before Christmas. So.
It's just like YouTube has us in like these social medias. It's so hard. Like I get that they have guidelines. That makes sense to me. If you're gonna come to YouTube, you have to follow our rules. I get that, but you can't. There's not a matching YouTube platform. And so you get funneled through. Like, in order to do this, I do kind of have to go through YouTube. And so now you get forced to follow the rules, which I'm about to put this on YouTube, and I'm talking shit about YouTube.
Hey, well, put it on Rumble too.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I've been thinking about putting some of this on Rumble. I know because I mean,
I don't know what your politics are, but it seems to me most of the content there is political lately.
Yeah.
I mean, more than anything. I guess that's everywhere.
Yeah,
though.
I'm more. I really am. I'm like a middle type guy. Like, you know, if I was to describe myself, it would be more libertarian than either, because I see things on both sides that I kind of agree with. Lately, leaning less left over some issues that
You got children?
That I'm getting. Yes, I have children.
How old are they?
I have my daughter's about to turn 2 October 6th, and my son is 4. He'll be 4 in December.
Okay. So 4. In 8 years, you are going to be all the way 100% to the bone conservative.
Think so?
I know so. I mean, regardless of ideas on legalization of pot or student loan, you know, if you want your student loans paid for, you can join the military. They've got the GI Bill. It pays. It's been paying for people's colleges for decades. So they've had that all along.
I never used mine. It's just chilling.
Nobody wants to get in there and do the work for it. But they've had that. That's how I went to college. You know, I mean, and I know it would, and I don't want to put you in a spot where somebody's angry with you because of what that asshole said. But all of these things that we're letting lead us, you know, what somebody thinks they are. I think I'm a cat today, or whatever, you know, and you've got to go out of your way to make me feel like a cat, or you know, it's such a waste of not just time but life, because that's what time is. I mean,
that's the most
all it
important
is.
Commodity we have.
And you've got these children. By the time they're 16. By the time your son is 4, you said?
He's about to be 4.
Okay. By the time he's 16, you're going to be full-fledged conservative, wondering how in the hell can you try to give away shit we ain't got? It's by nature. And I was the same. I was as liberal as any man. If you told me, hey, we're going to legalize weed, I'd have voted 40 times. You know what I mean? Or whatever. I'm just, or you know what? We're not going to tax tips. No, hey, that's great. Yeah,
that sounds like a great idea.
I'm down. You know, whatever party you wanted to call it, didn't really matter. But now, as I've gotten some stuff, you know, I got kids, I got grandkids now. I was bitching about memes earlier, but I did see a pretty cool one about wisdom is when you know to plant seeds to grow trees whose shade you'll never enjoy.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that before.
I thought that's, without realizing it, that's where I'm at. I'm making decisions based off what I want to be here when I'm gone.
Right.
Not what I want to do right now. It's really not in my mind. Now, I'm not saying this about anybody, and I could be the only dumbass out here that thinks this way. But in my mind, I have to look. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be here very much longer at all, really, to tell you the truth. So I'm making decisions based on what I think my grandchildren are going to have to deal with, what they're going to have to live through. And by nature, that makes you conservative. When you start voting based on taking care of somebody else, you have to be a little more conservative. It's nature. As you amass, when I'm young and I'm still on mama's insurance and all I got is rent, I don't have a house payment, or, you know, maybe I got a car payment, you know, just a few things. Man, it's easy to be liberal. But when you got people depending on you to live, you have to be conservative. And I think
that's interesting.
By nature, it's where I think we all go. I never thought I would be conservative. I never thought I'd be up here going, these kids and their music today, and here I am, man. You know what I mean? Which you've heard some of this music today.
Yeah. I stopped listening to rap for a while, and I recorded. So I used to go listen to rap music almost as research. I was researching and what I needed mine to sound like, right?
Right.
And it got to a point where I was like, I need a break from this. So I take this break, and then I stopped. I took a break from the actual studio, and then so to come back, when I hear new music now,
I'm going to tell you what I'm really into, man, are these mashups, like this one with Tupac and AC/DC.
Yeah, that's cool. Like a DJ that comes in and that's cool.
Yeah, so I enjoy though. I can't put down all the music, but most of it sucks. Taylor Swift. And what's more is, as fanatical as my mother, one of the worst ass whoopings, Mom, one of the worst ass whoopings I ever got in my life. And I'm talking about ever, not just home. I'm talking about the world. Was the day Elvis Presley died. My mother had a terrible headache. She used to get these migraine headaches. And I come home. It's like 4:00 in the afternoon. I think I was coming in to watch Gilligan's Island or something.
I love Gilligan's.
I want to say school had just started. I don't know. I can't remember what day it was. But I remember coming in there. It was 4:00 because Gilligan's Island was supposed to be coming on KTVT Channel 11. But instead, it was all about Elvis Presley died in Memphis and the video. And my mom and her sister, twin sister, were the biggest Elvis fans I ever knew. Ever knew. I traveled the country, had scarves where he threw them out, and they fainted and screamed. They were just big fangirls, Well, I thought she needed to know. So I knock on the door and she says, Jeffrey, somebody better be dying or I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Something like that, to that effect. I shut the door. And I remember thinking, well,
somebody did that.
They're saying he died. And I probably shouldn't have started up, but I remember opening the door going, you said if somebody died, Elvis died. And she jumped up, grabbed a belt off my dad's side of the bed there where he kept his boots and whatnot, and just went to beating the shit out of me. And I remember yelling, we were talking about this just the other day, me and Mama, as we were driving around, because as she's getting older, I get to help her.
Remember when you whooped my ass? That's crazy.
Well, we were talking about it, and because she was talking about, what was the worst spank, because we earned some spankings. I burnt down the shed, we earned some of this stuff, all of it. But that one, and I remember her, she had my arm, and I was like high-stepping, running, trying to get away from Mama, and this belt, yelling, look at the TV,
Yeah.
And finally she looks at the TV and stopped, called her sister, and then her sister came over, and for 3 days, they cried. While my dad and my Uncle Barry sat around going, can you believe this shit?
Yeah, they don't.
Dumb shit. But, maybe if Elvis had said vote for someone, maybe they would have done it even back then,
The celebrities telling you to vote thing. I was going to say this earlier. That is the wildest shit to me ever because, I'd never seen a celebrity go, hey, you should vote for so-and-so and been like, you know what? This person that has way more money than me, that doesn't live any type of situation like me, says this is the way to go. This must be the way for me.
I'm going to talk about a good friend of mine, and I'm not going to mention his name. I'm not, because he is a good friend of mine. But nature does take its course in everything that we do. As this man was successful the more successful he was in politics, he was in politics and then he got into media, and we still work together occasionally. Got rich. Good for him. Proud for him. And then from rich to wealthy. And now, is in that gated community, doesn't drive his own vehicle anymore.
Oh, wow.
Much less pump his own gasoline or mow his lawn. None of that. And so it kind of has become an us and them, and I still love him. But he's them. He's not one of us now. And it's just nature. And I think that happens in everything that you divide. Everything that you put a division into. A huge supporter of the police, right? I mean, anybody knows me knows that. But there is an us and them mentality. Police hang out with police officers for safety and other reasons. Police wives hang out with other police wives.
Right.
And by nature becomes us bankers, dentists, doctors, lawyers, everything. You on your job, you have more in common with people that are working men,
Yeah.
right? So that's who you have more in common with. That's us. They are us.
Yeah.
But once they,
not us,
whatever, it becomes them. It's nothing again. I'm not saying they are bad. Us is
it's
good
like
and them is bad. Yeah, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong. I'm just saying that's nature.
That's natural. Yeah.
And that is when we need to consider feelings, I think. As far as, each individual, I mean, nobody wants to be hurt. And good people don't want to hurt anybody. That's nature. But our feelings are out there. We've got the thought police today, Joe. I don't know, man. And we came here to talk about cheers and jeers.
Well, I knew it would make.
We're out here.
This is
waxing
how most
philosophical.
This is how a lot of mine turn into. It always starts off with like
that's the best one.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy doing this.
That's the best ones, and I can't wait to go in and chat. I want to. When are you going to get Rogers up?
I'm going on a cruise.
People,
Shout out to me. I'm going to vacation.
Hey, yeah, good for you. Y'all don't know how much work goes into doing.
Oh, this is tough. This has consumed my life, my free time.
It'll take all of your time.
Everything. Yeah, and I'm editing myself, and I'm posting on everything, and I'm making mistakes and learning and all that stuff. But I'll probably have his out. It's next in line. So,
well, no, that makes you real, man. So don't be trying to change nothing like that. You keep being Joe Teel because, you got a really good thing going here, and we got to get you some sponsors.
I would like
Redbone Magic would make an awesome sponsor.
Yeah, right. I just had him here for an hour and 30 minutes. It was a fun conversation.
I don't know if you're catching the subtle winks. I mean,
he's super cool. I would love that. He made me laugh.
$100 a month.
He made me laugh the whole time.
Yeah,
he just told the most interesting stories, and that was one of my favorite ones I've done.
I love your concept here. I mean, we've got so many great, and that's just the thing. You contact Perry Steitler.
Perry Steitler.
Yeah, he owns Whiskey River.
Oh, cool.
Out there, right? But this guy's story from his childhood to I mean, we've got some fascinating people here.
Right. Yeah, I'm learning
but
that.
Folks will see somebody, a lot of people would see Roger and some may think of him, oh, that's the magician guy or illusionist. And some people would be like, oh, that's the pizza guy. That's the
or sports guy. Magic. Or
we want to get to know those people, and you're giving folks that opportunity to learn these people behind these signs. And I think that's really cool because everybody has a good story.
Right.
It may not be the most exciting, most romantic, the most happy, but it's a good story. Everybody's got a good story. May not tell it well, but it's a good story.
Right.
And I think you giving them a platform and just asking the questions is huge.
Yeah.
So I hope you have nothing but success. I want to see this thing grow, man, and be more.
Yeah. It's so wild that my last thought towards you is just like you're saying, like for people to have all these
Wait, last
these
thought,
feelings,
are we done?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're working our way out. But because we just did an hour and 45 minutes. Easy. That's easy. I enjoyed it. But my last thought towards you is like you're saying, like I've never heard of you before today, just from however before.
Ain't nothing special about me.
And then I get all these different information about you. Just random comments, stuff like this. You're this controversial guy on there is what they say in all these comments.
Am I?
I just met you. Well, I just talked to you for an hour and 45 minutes. I enjoyed it.
Oh, well,
you seem like a great guy. I enjoyed it. Like we agreed on pretty much all this stuff. So even if we had disagreed on
I'm not a butthole all the time.
Right. So it's just an interesting thing. And you got to get people, I feel like you get them in the chair, you get the phone cut off. I'm always talking about getting the distractions out. And I just don't think people in regular life are having deep conversations with people.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. And I think it comes back to what we were talking about earlier, Joe, the self-censorship. Because I know I've done it. Listen, I do a lot of different things in a lot of different cities. And so this platform will slap you down for that, and this one will slap you down for that. And if you're managing your social media and your digital footprint properly, it should make you money. And if you're getting restricted and flagged and this and that, you ain't making money.
Right.
So I have to look at it a bit serious. So I do find and I've done it on your show, I'm trying to censor myself. I got a bad habit of using bad language, or,
Same.
I think the S-bomb is my biggest, I say shit all the time.
Yeah, I work in it.
Yeah, well.
That's a way of life.
That's money, man. So, I got a buddy that has the porta potties, man. Bronson, he's...
Oh, that's my buddy.
Yeah.
He does septic. He does the pump truck. We have a pump truck. He's a third generation dude. So I've been running in Bronson at like the dump station since we were kids. Our grandpas are dumping, and me and him are.
Hey, my grandfolks had trash, man. We had a trash company. We all trash.
Yeah.
So that's an advantage to you in life, man. It really is. I learned business from the perspective of the garbage man. Right? It doesn't matter if this company makes $20 million a year. When I show up at so-and-so street, I'm still the trash man.
Yeah.
So yes, sirs, and no, sirs, and learning business from that perspective and dealing with you are the lowest of the totem pole makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah, I always think about
let things slide here in my later years. It's just not that important.
And every septic tank I open, whether I'm in a poor neighborhood or a rich neighborhood, it's all the same shit.
Yeah, everybody shits the same, man. I don't care what kind of car you drive, you're still going to drop your drawers and take a shit later. Just like Joe.
Shout out to Teel Septic Service. Plug myself at the end. But man, it's getting late. But I thank you so much for coming on here. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Just a random thought I had yesterday turned into an hour and 45 minute conversation.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
But
you're going to edit some of that out because some things I shouldn't have said.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll do all my editing and I might send it to you and see if you could, or if you, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We got to get the parts out.
I don't want to say I have seen, but there are some things I shouldn't say.
Right. I understand.
And I know some things have been actually cleared because they're on WikiLeaks. Yeah. So that like opened up a whole area of my life that I wasn't able to talk about before. That I understand that I can now.
Yeah. I'd like to go to dinner or something and turn off a camera and then like really ask you some questions because I would like the secrets.
It's not necessarily secrets. It's all out there and it's all in front of everybody. It's just if it's done in a certain way, you won't notice. You'll pay attention to this hand and you don't see what this one's doing. And you're going through it now. Puff. Diddy.
Oh, yeah. So you think that's just a distraction?
No, I think it's a real deal.
Yeah.
But I think now's the time that it needs to be seen to draw away from the fact that we just let George Soros buy 200 United States radio stations reaching 90 million people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And we're going to let him give them reach, frequency, message, and consistency. Right?
Yeah.
You can flash back it, rewind, and you'll see what that's about.
Yeah.
We're going to let that happen. I don't know. These are scary times. What I would, if I could say anything on a podcast to the public, man, is none of this shit out here is worth hating somebody over.
Sure.
You and none of your shit's going to be here in 100 years.
Right.
In 150 years, nobody's even going to remember you were ever here. I don't care what you do today. That's the truth. And I see all these people about, oh, well, that guy's like, again, platforms, Himmler or whatever, or whatever.
Yeah,
He's like that guy or this guy or pew-pews or, it's just all, you know, I'm on one app. You know which one I'm talking about, TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
You got people on there going, well, he took out his pew and he did that, you know, and they're making up a whole new language.
It's a new language to avoid censorship, yeah, which is natural. That's
and I'm like,
happened.
man, you're talking like 4-year-olds,
Yeah.
you know?
But that's what you do at school. Like as a high schooler, when they say you can't say these words, well, then you come up with new words.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know.
That's just like a natural thing that we do as humans. But anyways, appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Man, I enjoy being here. I can't wait to check. I'm gonna watch all your stuff.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
man.
For the channel, like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Please leave comments. That helps. And we love you. Thanks for tapping in.
Yeah, and share.
Share.
Share
Please.
with everybody. And if you want to be, Joe is such a friendly guy, man, and open to talking to everybody. If you're interested, reach out to Joe, man. Always got room for more guests, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm on the hunt.
Yeah, there you
It's some weird sometimes. I'm scrolling on, I'm like adding grown men, and sometimes it is just like, I'm going to ask them to be on the podcast, but it is kind of strange sometimes fishing, and then sending that message is kind of scary too.
Well,
like,
and see, that's because you have been conditioned. Joe, this is a perfect example. You've been conditioned that asking for friend or sending friend requests or a fanboy mentality or this or that or the other comes from the female perspective. Why are you making friends with these people? Who's that? Why are you talking to them? Right? I'm not saying that you're living that life. Yeah. I'm just saying that when it gets to the point that you're like, shit, I don't even know if I ought to send a friend request to this dude. Yeah. you might be in a jealous situation. Yeah. I don't know.
No. It's just, it's almost scary. I don't want them to be like, why are you hitting me up? Like, I don't know. It's all self-doubt. It's all stuff that you got to work through, you know? And I always get scared when I send the message. Like I just randomly message you and said, hey, you know, this is what I do. And sometimes, you know, people will just read it and not reply. But I'm learning not to care more. Like, I just need to send that message. I need to send that message.
You got to, Eric, you did an interview with Eric that'll be published soon.
Yeah, it's already out.
Oh, it's out. Mm-hmm. You know, perfect example of somebody that is always busy. You know what I mean? He's
always busy. Yeah, we had to plan a month out for his.
Yeah, he's got calls coming. He's got events. He's in other cities. You know, there's so much going on that I don't think that it's necessarily somebody just. Nah, screw that.
Right.
It's just, it's like, all right, see that, I'll get back to it here in a minute. But now another 40 text messages and 12 emails have come through. And by the time I answer, and it just gets lost in the shuffle, man. It gets crazy. So send your messages, man. Send the friend requests and meet all the people you can. I tell you, everybody out here has a good story. Now, a lot of people that you meet, you're going to realize they're just dumb buttholes. I don't need to, I unfollow or whatever, you know, I don't have to ever talk to them again. You know, I don't have to judge them. I don't have to try to correct them. I just can move on without them. Yeah. Or you can.
It's only been once or twice where I interviewed somebody, and in my head, I was like, never again.
Oh, really?
Most of the time, no, I'm not crazy.
Oh, come on, man. Who was it? No,
you turned it into my job, yeah. Are you sure you don't want to tell?
Yeah. So, Joe.
But anyways, thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all tap in. We love you.